All right, everybody, welcome to Lock Pod, Season 12, Episode 10, coming to you live from Nika IBW Power in Indiana, Lake County Studios in Munster, Indiana.
The Midwest.
Yes.
Most.
Where it rained a lot.
Dangerous.
Oh, my gosh.
Podcast.
I forgot.
It's okay.
It could go. Oh, no way.
That was good, yeah. Same.
Cubs announcers don't ever say that.
No. If you're a Cubs fan, it's been a rough week and a half.
Dude,
2 weeks.
That game, what was that, Saturday?
Yeah.
Against the Cardinals?
Dude.
Chicago sports blow.
They're really not good. I mean, it's bad.
The Cubs
granted,
great,
the
too.
White Sox are really, really, really bad. But the Cubs, who had higher expectations, were doing fine, and now they've really come back down.
They just can't hit.
Can't hit right now. And I really like no threat in the lineup.
No.
It's like, and don't get me wrong, I think, the players are good. Like, I like Swanson. I like Nico Horner. I like these guys, but they're just it's not like, you look at the Yankees lineup.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, holy shit. Or you look at the Dodgers lineup.
There's
and you're
no
like,
home run. There's no power threat in the Cubs lineup.
No.
And there's really no, average threat in the Cubs lineup either.
I don't think anybody's hitting 260.
We checked yesterday. They're not.
Oh, well, we checked a couple guys.
Talkman might be hitting 260.
He might, but...
Welcome to Sports Radio.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't say...
Welcome to Sports Radio, everybody. Right?
I don't know who started the Cubbies, but it's bad.
And I just pointed out they suck.
I couldn't not say anything because I was like,
let's delve into it.
It's frustrating as a Cubs fan. So anyway.
Hey, Jill, what's up?
Hey.
Good morning, Jill.
How are you?
Did you work this weekend?
Sure did.
Nice.
Happy Memorial Day.
What kind of asshole boss do you have?
Yeah, what a jerk.
Jesus.
I didn't know. Why are you guys working? You must have been super busy.
I mean, we're our busy season now. So
yes.
We have to work out. We'll work 4th of July and.
But what are you doing? Are you you're working because it's crowded, or are you planting flowers, or? Yeah,
I mean it's busy. It's our busy season. The marina's open. Golf course is pumping.
All right.
We're getting ready for Leon's this weekend out there.
Okay. I'm still trying to.
Speaking of Leon's, will you be participating this year?
Leon's is this weekend.
June 2nd.
Have you not been training?
No, I've been training. No, you know what? I think Leon's is messing me up when I'm training for it. I think it's part of the reason I keep getting injured.
So a couple of years ago, which probably was season 6 or 5 or 8 or whatever.
1.
Yes, could have been. You were in triathlon mode, and I think last year
I still am. I'm training.
You
I'm
didn't,
just not.
But no, I'm saying last year you didn't really train for triathlon, right?
Yeah,
did you do triathlon? Did you do?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, what'd you do last year?
I did sprints last year.
Sprints. Okay, I didn't realize that.
Did you do the
Okay.
Indy one last year?
Huh?
Did you do Indy last year?
No, I did Indy the full year. That was the year before. That was the full one. But I did sprints last year. I did Leon's last year sprint.
Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to ask you. Did you do Leon's last year?
Yeah, it was. The thing about Leon's is I think it's too early in the year for an old guy like me, because what that does is it stresses me out all winter, and I find myself pounding my feet all winter trying to get ready for Leon so I could do the 6-mile run in June. In addition to everything else, you have a 6-mile run to cap it. So what I do is I put hundreds of miles on my feet in the winter, and then I injure myself. Mm-hmm. It seems like the last 2 or 3 years I've been getting hurt. And then last year I got hurt in July, and I shut it down I didn't run again from July until February.
So this year,
I'm trying not to train as hard over the winter. So what I've been doing is walking and swimming and biking, and I haven't really been running. So I don't think I could do the run on Leon's if I did it. I think I could. I know I could do the swim. I know I could do the bike, and then I would break down on the run.
So goal this year is what?
No, I want to do the Chicago and Indy,
which are later in the year.
Yeah. So right now I could do a sprint. I could sprint Leon's easy right now, but I don't think I can complete the full thing. So.
And what's the one between sprint and Ironman? Olympic, right?
Yeah, Olympic distance.
Which is usually
that's what I do.
Okay, that's right. That's like Chicago.
And then Ironman.
Indy.
Ironman has different levels. Levels.
All right.
Yeah.
If you want to see our one and only Lockpod vlog,
oh god,
head to our YouTube.
I see
channel.
my really white legs, and I see Dr. Forite leaning over me.
Yeah, you're not going to want to miss this. This was 2 years ago. It was triathlon day.
When you guilted all of your people into doing
my legs were cramped.
I did not.
Hilarious.
I did not. I
you
did
didn't
not guilt.
intentionally.
No, but they did. They did a sprint team.
This is just one part of it.
And Jana
didn't. They were gonna die.
Jana beat the sprint team, right?
Yes.
I did not.
Yeah.
Didn't Jana beat the sprint team?
She tied me in biking, which is very annoying to this day.
Oh, I
Right,
thought she
was-
beat you.
No, it was literally. I'm not kidding. It literally was a tie. I can't even believe
Okay.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree, Jill.
No, it was.
I was getting updates from a PD that was on Sheffield that Jana just passed Kevin. Kevin's looking
It's
bad.
true. No, she did, and I caught her. I caught back up to her. And
I didn't
passed
get
her.
that update.
Oh my gosh, look at this. You
Stop
guys
rubbing
go
my
watch
legs.
this video.
Oh, there's Aaron with a banana in his pants.
Dude. Out of control.
Things got wild.
Out of
That's our
control.
first and only vlog. I wonder why.
Look at that child in the background being traumatized.
Yeah. What is Aaron doing?
Latitude Real Estate.
We may not be the best, but we try our best.
With a banana in our pants.
So Memorial Day weekend, everybody have a good time?
Went to the parade.
Other than Jill, I don't think Jill had a good time.
No.
That was fine.
She was working.
Whatever.
That
Weather
sucks.
was kind of.
Oh, that weather.
It was actually, tell you what, for the parade, which in the past has been a scorcher,
Yeah.
it was fine. It was,
I was
very
sweating.
comfortable.
I was sweating. I was cold when we started, a little bit.
I had a
and
sweatshirt
then
on.
I was straight sweating.
That parade is a death march.
It was
is
long.
So long.
So
Really?
I parked at the end of the parade, walked to the beginning, okay, and did the parade, and then walked to my car, 2.5 miles.
Nice.
That was a freaking long ass parade, man.
Yeah. It didn't
Yeah.
feel terrible, though. I thought it was, probably because the temperature was so comfortable.
It was, yeah, but I had my dark navy shirt on. Oh man, I was sweating.
Well, unlike the rest of us who are walking, the mayor is usually running up to people's porches,
Yeah.
over to the kids. I mean, he's constantly moving in that parade, throwing candy.
Plus, like the new thing we do now is awesome on Parade Float. We put a DJ on there. Mm-hmm. It is so cool, man. Like very high energy. So it's like hard not to get into it for me because I'm like, they're like playing this like really aggressive, like yeah,
Yes, very high energy.
like a lot of
DJ.
Latin music.
Latin, they mix in some.
Really?
Yeah, on Memorial Day. I thought
What's
was-
that about?
I don't know. It's a Latin DJ, so we had a little bit of a mix. I was like, hey, I was like, hey, we got to play some more American.
It's Memorial
Day. He's like, okay, I'll put on YMCA. I was like, okay, fair enough.
No, he did
Fair
not.
enough.
That's so funny.
It's fun to stay at the YMCA.
He had some Eurythmics. He had some other stuff going. And
Yeah,
not
it was
that she's
cool.
American,
Ooh.
but
Sweet Dreams?
Yeah, Sweet Dreams was the first song you played.
A lot of EDM.
Nice.
Getting ready for
Friday's
Saturday-
announcement.
Saturday at the
Yeah.
Festival of Lakes.
Yes, Friday's
We're
announcement.
going to have the great artist.
Don't
I saw that was
That'll
Don't
be
give,
answered.
Eileen, don't give Eileen a heart attack this early in the
That'll
week.
be answered on Friday.
Be answered on
We're
Friday.
on Friday. We're gonna come out with our Festival of Lakes act. We're gonna announce it right here on Lockpod.
We thought it was
Saturday
gonna be
night's
today,
Main
but-
act. It's gonna be a concert. You're gonna want to buy tickets to it.
Yes.
If you're in your 20s and 30s.
So be excited.
If you're in your 40s and 50s, you're gonna go. Who's that?
Yes.
Wow,
speaking
I
of-
know who that is.
You do? You know who it is?
Yeah.
Would you go? Like
No.
I didn't think so. You're too old.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh.
I mean,
I'm
like
there,
you're
dude.
above that
Ding,
age.
ding, ding.
You're above that age. I'm above that age too. Like way above that
That's
age.
just not my type of thing.
Even though
It's not an
we've
age
seen
thing.
him, but
Were you
Him
with
or-
me when
did
we
you
saw
say
him?
him?
yeah,
Yeah.
her,
Oh.
it,
People
Him.
are
they.
speculating.
I'm going to get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yo.
Good segue.
I wanted to ask about Memorial Day because this is interesting.
What?
Because Jill was working, we were there, and like I noticed the DJ, who by the way did a great job, but he was like, "Happy Memorial Day, Hammond!
Yeah.
No work today," and I was
Right.
like, "Yeah."
Oh, it's a little.
But I mean, even a parade, right, John? Like even like
Yeah.
a parade.
We're having a
Like,
celebration for dead people.
Do
Yeah.
you think it was a little disrespectful is not the right word, but
For a
when I
DJ?
saw the DJ, I was like, oh, I don't know if this is the right time and place for a DJ.
Why are we having a stupid parade if we're not going to get loud?
I'll tell you
but
this
you're-
though,
you're
people
just
were
saying,
enjoying
like-
the DJ.
You don't know if you should say happy or not.
Yes.
Yes,
True.
agreed.
You're saying you don't think you
So,
should
yeah. I mean,
be
I
happy.
Don't,
say.
I don't know. Like, is it? I don't know.
No.
Well-
that's a good. This is a new thing for me. We did it in the last parade, in the Christmas parade, and it was jamming.
It was
Now,
fun.
I mean,
the
are you going to
question
have one
is-
for Veterans Day?
Yeah.
Sure, DJ.
I'm thinking this is the way to go.
There is a Veterans.
I'll tell you this.
Oh,
What
you mean
about
DJ?
4th of July? Yeah. Unless,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Unless the parades get lame and they're like, we don't like DJs.
Well,
I
yeah,
can see
but
that coming.
I think for Fest, like like we've done in the past, Jill's had the speaker
Play
out, play
music.
the lineup.
Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah.
So, but I was talking to some of the folks on the parade in our group, and they were like, "Okay, I get it. Of course, Memorial Day, we want to be respectful, but like, it's a parade. Do you want us to like be walking around like with our heads down,
Right.
And like,
We agree.
so it's
So
kinda,
we picked it up.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a parade, you got to. And
I'll
by the
take
way,
the criticism.
kids,
Love that criticism.
Kids loved the parade. They loved the
Yeah.
candy. there were a bunch of people dancing.
We're out,
and,
by the
you
way,
know,
keep in
having
mind
fun.
we're out there on a freaking day off, quote unquote.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
We're out there like walking in respect with a jamming ass DJ.
And I should say this for the parade.
With respect,
Yes,
Jill.
with
With
respect.
respect.
Playing Latin music.
With a jamming
Respectfully.
ass DJ.
And I would say this.
Blasting
Hashtag
Latin music.
America.
At the end of the parade route, there is a memorial ceremony.
Yes,
that they do
there
have.
is.
Yeah. So there's like, the respect part.
True story.
And, making sure we give, our respect to the people.
But like,
that
I agree
serve
though.
and
The question is,
gave their lives was at the end.
but like, is it appropriate to say Happy Memorial Day? Is it appropriate to have a DJ? Probably not. Probably not appropriate to have a DJ. But the way I'm at, so I go out there. It's 9:45. Hardly anybody's on the parade route. And I'm like, why do we have this parade if nobody's going to come out?
You say that for every parade.
But
though,
this
right
was
before.
this was particularly bad. Okay,
fuck
I'm
are we
like, there's
doing this?
fucking nobody on the parade route. And I'm like, we shut down North Hammond
It's
for
too
this.
long. Part of the problem is it's too long.
It is a long.
it
ass
picked
route.
up.
But
There
we're
were-
not in charge of this route,
No,
though.
no,
I want
we're
to point
not.
that
Yeah.
out. This is a Mohawk thing, right?
This is not a city thing.
So I'm like, dude, the whole freaking route. There's like 10 people on the whole route, 2.5 mile route, and
Well-
I'm like, why are we doing this parade if nobody's out?
But
so
then
I
it
went up
picked
to the
up.
firemen, and I went up to the police officers, and I said, hey, quarter tail guys, I want you to lean on your sirens. I want you to wake up North Hammond. Like,
Nice.
and at quarter tail, they were like,
I was wondering why it was going so early.
yes.
You told them. All right. Because I was like, oh, my God, the parade's
So
going to
I'm
start.
like-
I got to get over there.
And they're like, what if everybody gets pissed? I'm like, we're having a freaking parade. Like, if nobody's out, like, why are we having a if
Happy
nobody
Memorial Day.
If they don't want us to have a parade, then let's don't have a parade.
Yeah.
Right? So we woke up the entire neighborhood. I'm not saying that's the only reason it was pretty packed, but it was pretty packed.
It got very busy.
The weather was nice.
It was definitely nice.
Perfect
And then
weather.
the jamming Latin music coming from my float probably
Yeah.
helped attract.
Mhm.
It was
and
good.
YMCA.
I may or may not have hit a child in the head with a blow pop.
Really?
That's happened
I
before.
definitely-
I was doing the candy baptisms, doing that, and I was shoving candy in the kids' little hoodies because they were wearing hoodies, and I was putting all the candy in their hat, and I was having fun with kids yesterday. We were dumping candy.
Yeah, there was a lot of candy. That
Damn,
was,
dude, we dumped a lot of candy yesterday.
always a little too early in the parade, and then we were like, oh,
No, we made
got
it.
to ration.
We made it.
No, I mean you made it. We had to ration everybody else.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people throwing candy. When there's like 30 people throwing candy, it goes quick.
At some point, you're like, okay, only the mayor gets to throw now.
Yeah,
Stop.
right.
So
Hey, I did 2 concerts again this weekend.
You are
2 in a row.
You're on a roll.
Marissa and I went to. I know. Like we did Billy Strings on Friday, in a group, which was cool. Standing, and then Saturday, Marissa and I went back watched because he does it like the Grateful Dead.
standing.
No, I sat right by where we were standing though. But Billy Strings plays concerts like the Grateful Dead. He's a lot of Dead fans follow him. So if you see him 2 days in a row, you'll never hear one song that's the same. It's always everything's different. He looks at a week like a show, and over that week he'll play all of his songs just like the Dead.
A couple things I observed. One, I like bluegrass music. So the fact that it was a stand-up bass, a mandolin, a fiddle, a banjo, and Billy Strings on the guitar was very cool to me because it was like it's
no
not
drums.
like it's not like
Crazy.
traditional. There's some traditional bluegrass, but there's also like it's kind of like jam. I guess I don't know how to say it. It's like jam
It tweaks.
bluegrass.
It's
or
like
something,
it's
right?
like Grateful Dead.
Yeah, it's really really good. And also, I love the fact that on the he brought his dad out.
Yeah.
At the end, because this kid has an amazing story.
Yeah.
And he brought his dad out at the end. He's like, this is the guy who taught me everything. And they did a couple,
But
like,
that's his-
old time, kind of like in a group, bluegrass kind of.
That's his stepdad. You know that?
Okay, I did not know
But
that.
like
he
the cool thing is this rings true for me. He put out a statement. Marissa showed it to me the other day, talking about he has a dad and a stepdad, and he's like, this stepdad was a big part of his life, and he was talking about what a great guy he is. He's
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
he
you
taught
have
me
a
how to
similar-
shit. He taught me how to do everything I know, like
Yep.
because I guess his dad was gone. So it
Well,
was
and I
a-
remember
it
when
was a
your
nice thing.
stepdad was going through his illness. I remember
Yeah.
you bringing up how important he was to you growing
Yeah,
up.
yeah, I lived with him my first 13 years of my life. So
Yep.
yeah, and he passed last year, unfortunately. So
But so the other thing about the Billy Strings concert, and this was at the what it's called Allstate Arena now, I think it used to be Rosemont Horizon. So was another day of me standing. However, this week I wore On Clouds, not Vans, like I did at the Dead Show, and I got to tell you, the On Clouds treated my feet a lot better.
yeah,
Yeah, 'cause it was off my heels, so that was good for me. And it was great, really good. They had an intermission just like at a Dead Show. That was cool,
Yeah.
which I kind of like because you kind of get to chit chat a little bit.
yeah.
And then you kind
We
of
went
kick
with
back in.
We had it was a lawyer group.
Yeah, it was a nice group, and
Yeah, it was
so
good. Fans of the show, by the way.
yes.
Who's
But
not?
I would.
What's that, Joe?
I said, who's not?
Let me ask you this.
I heard multiple times in the parade yesterday people talking about the show. Multiple.
Tom, let me ask you this: do you think Billy Strings would be somebody that you could get for Fest?
We could definitely get Billy Strings.
God, I
The
think
question
that'd
is
be
whether he would play.
phenomenal.
I don't
We'd
think
love.
Do you think he would draw here? I don't think he would.
He would have a crowd, a diehard crowd. That,
think
like
they
if
would
I knew
travel?
Billy Strings was playing in Chicago, I would go see him, and there would be about 5,000 or 6,000 people there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see him at the Fest. You're right, though. He's
'Cause
like
the
right on the
Fest-
edge, though.
The Fest draws bigger crowds though, Joe, because it's free.
Right.
So if Billy Strings was playing a night at the Fest, he'd probably do it in front of 15,000 because people would be like, "Yeah, I heard a lot about this guy. I'm going to go check him out," and it's no risk.
I don't think
You're
we'd be that
dropping money in
high,
the park.
but I think we'd do well. Like, I don't think it's a Saturday night show yet, but I think it's a Wednesday, Thursday, and I think it'd be phenomenal.
I don't think we could afford him unless it was a Saturday show.
Gotcha. Okay.
I bet
Well-
you he's $600,000.
It'd be fun to have because could you imagine like the openers for Billy Strings? You have all these great bluegrass
Yeah,
bands, and it'd
right.
be fun. A lot of
But
fun.
like that's the problem with us getting Billy Strings. If we got Billy Strings for the Fest, it would be awesome because we can give him a huge crowd, but we couldn't afford him, right? And then if we got him for a concert, we could theoretically do this, but it may be trouble selling enough tickets to cover his price.
Because to me, he's like, and we talk about this, like how sometimes Fest acts, like we get him like right over, kind of either on the way up or on the way down. To me, he's like on the way up. Like
Agreed.
he's like in his
He's
late
building.
20s or
He's
something,
building.
mid to late 20s.
He's
so,
on the way up.
yeah. So it's like he's going to be around for
Yeah.
20
We'll catch
more
him
years.
at the Fest in 15 years.
Maybe
After
later.
a couple scandals.
Oh, Jesus. Well, now that you guys are bluegrass aficionados,
I don't know
you-
aficionado, but I like
you
him.
need to check out Punch Brothers.
All right.
Marissa's the
Phenomenal.
aficionado.
So
She got me on these guys. This happened accidentally. I was doing Indianapolis Tri, and the day before the Tri, we're down in Indy. I'm in a hotel getting ready, hydrating, eating, just chilling the night before, and then there was a big concert, and I bought her tickets for it. I'm like, hey, why don't you just go to the concert tonight and chill? I'm going to be just sitting in the hotel room. Billy Strings.
Yeah,
I
nice.
saw a bunch of Dead shirts and all that. Bought her a ticket. She loved him, and the rest is history.
The other thing about Allstate Arena that was cool was that they modified the space.
Yeah,
So that even though it seats I think 15 or 18,000, they kind of shrunk it down
yeah.
into 5 or 6 or
Yeah.
whatever it was, which was kind of cool.
Hey, play that little clip I put on there, John.
Wow, that was
Awesome.
awesome.
Jamming, huh?
Love
Yeah.
a fiddle.
Yeah, I
Freaking
agree.
awesome.
Phil,
That-
agree.
And a mandolin.
Although I'm a big
The-
mandolin guy, and stand-up bass was great.
The whole concert was like that,
Yeah.
just up tempo. And plus, he's
And some trippy stuff.
yeah, man, for sure. Total trippy
Yeah,
psychedelic shit.
yeah.
Anybody on drugs would be like, whoa,
Really?
Their music
yeah.
and their effects. It's just to fuck with you. The whole thing is just like,
This all
weed
white
out.
John was very
Even those things above the stage were freaking crazy looking.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was little psychedelic for sure.
Well, if he plays the Ryman, you need to see him at the Ryman in Nashville.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to see. I'm honestly, I'm at the point with Billy where I would travel to see him for sure. Just his concerts
on
are
tour.
awesome. I know, and his concerts rock. They're not overcrowded. Like Kevin said, Allstate Arena was halfway full.
Yeah,
so
if
probably. We estimated I figured I was low. We figured 8,000 or 9,000 people were there, right?
Yeah, I was a little.
was
I
low.
mean, on the high side, probably 8.
'Cause-
but yeah,
No, because Allstate Arena holds 20,000 people, and half of it was filled,
18.
including the floor. So, think about it. That's the floor is not normally filled during a hockey match.
True.
So, yeah, he did pretty well.
Was
So-
that his song?
Yeah, Slow
Wow.
Train. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good song.
It's awesome.
So,
all right.
I heard a good joke yesterday.
No,
This is
boy.
a good one.
Who'd you hear it from?
Is it about Billy Strings?
No, it's not about Billy Strings. I heard it from a judge. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
What,
Oh,
man? I know a lot of judges.
I mean, that's
man.
true.
Lots
That's
of
true.
judges.
That's true.
I hang with judges. I don't know if you knew that about
I did
me.
not know that.
Yeah, so this judge was telling me a good joke.
All right.
It's a good one. All right, so it's about there's a lady checking out at the grocery store, right? and she's like checking out, and she's got normal. She's a single lady. Not that it matters, but she's single. Okay, and she's checking out, and she's buying single shit, right? So like, what's single
shit?
People that are single, they buy the same kind of shit, right?
No, I know, but I'm asking like what items those would be.
Good question. I'm not single, so like, Jill, help us out here. What do single people buy? Like frozen foods, right? Like TV dinner.
Jill's a cook.
Yeah,
Lunch
TV
meat?
dinner, lunch meat,
I
lunch
could
meat.
live on
Okay,
sandwiches. Honestly,
Lunch meat.
wait.
Maybe like
Stupid
rubbing
sandwiches.
oils, right?
Lunch
Rubbing
Rubbing
oils.
oils.
What?
You're
Well,
single
yeah,
if you
but-
buy lunch meat.
What?
And rubbing oils.
Chat.
If
What
you
is a
buy
rubbing
lunch
oil?
meat and rubbing oils,
What's rubbing oils?
stuff you use for like rubbing yourself.
So lotion and Kleenex.
Yeah.
You're single.
Yeah, and frozen foods. Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay,
I'm
so
with you.
we
I'm
got
just
this-
picturing
we
the
narrowed it
conveyor
down.
belt.
I
Okay.
think you
Like
guys
a
are single
Swanson TV dinners. The sirloin.
Like
Peel
old
back the
school.
foil.
Okay, so anyway, she's buying stuff that. It's so like the checker is like going, oh, frozen food, pink. He's like, oh, rubbing oil, pink. And then, oh, look at
Lunch
that,
meat.
condoms, pink, right? Like all this single stuff, right? And he's like, just says to her, like, huh, you got a lot of stuff. You're obviously single. And she's like, that's crazy. I am single. And he's like, think, and she's like, you could tell by looking at my groceries that I'm single. That is awesome. He goes, no, think, you're just fucking ugly. Think.
Marissa.
What are you talking about? I said a judge.
Wow.
It's not Marissa.
Those judges sure do tell mean jokes.
It was a judge, not necessarily that judge. So
I feel personally attacked by that joke.
why is
Wow.
that?
I
Why?
don't know.
As a single person.
As a single person, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a good one.
By the way,
Snowflakes.
Yeah, totally.
Snowflakes in the studio.
No, I mean,
There's someone having a total meltdown on our YouTube stream.
uh-oh.
Really?
Like,
What?
like.
I like the fact that you're
hold
actually
on.
able to.
Yeah,
watch
I
these.
can see
That's
all these
great.
comments, and this person is like talking about Democrats are enemy of the state and NATO and like
Whoa.
Ukraine.
You're on the wrong podcast.
But anyways,
buddy.
here's
This is
here's what I'm wondering about. One of his comments is, "Shame on all three of these stupid Democrats." There's 4 people in the room, by the way.
Wow.
Who's the
no
3?
wonder you
I think,
mentioned
I
this
think
comment.
he or she is.
No, I'm saying I think I'm being assumed for being a Democrat. That's what I'm.
I thought
getting
he.
at.
You're
I thought
right
he was
now, let's be
assuming
honest.
Jill.
Jill's definitely D. She cares
Triple.
about bodily autonomy.
That's right.
Whatever,
Yeah.
man.
Well,
Anyway.
John's offended. He's like, "Don't bring me into these."
Do not call me a Democrat.
All right. Well, here's John. I think this is going to be a topic that you and I can agree on, probably.
Yes.
So, a buddy of mine, real good friend of mine, known him forever. I'm not going to name names or where he works or anything like that, but he works.
It's not me.
No, it's not. It's not Mayor Tom. Actually, the person I'm talking about, I've known actually longer than you.
Wow.
So, he's at work and he said, hey, he's texting me because I think we're texting about the Cubs games because we usually do. And he says, hey, you're never going to believe this. I just got written up for using the wrong pronoun.
Oh,
And I was like, what?
Where's this person work?
I don't want to say where. It's a mental health.
How about this?
facility.
Chicago?
Yeah, it's in Chicago. It's
Okay.
a mental health facility.
That's a big city.
Yeah,
There's millions of
absolutely.
people that live there.
Reddit
So-
is going to find this person within the.
No.
No. So anyway, he
Longtime
says-
friends of Kevin lives in Chicago.
Right. Many of
go
them.
through
Works at a mental health facility.
Just go through his friends list.
So-
We just narrowed it down to like 3 people, 2 people max.
I was like, what? And I texted him back basically like, WTF, right?
So hold it.
I mean, like
So
literally,
hold it.
I was like,
he used the wrong pronoun. Was
Yes.
it accidental or was it on purpose?
I know this guy's heart. There is no way
Yeah.
that it was intentional.
Okay, let me probe here.
Okay.
So you're like somebody who's recently transitioned, and you say like, let's say if it's a male going to female, and I've known the male for a long time, and that person is now like changes his name to Tiffany or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
the way he described it to me was, I was like, that's bullshit. And he is like, no, don't overreact, Kevin, blah, blah, blah. He said, we have transgender staff that gets frustrated when I use the wrong pronoun because I'm not used to using the
But
right
hold
pronoun.
it. Is it accidental or is it on
Totally
purpose?
accidental. There's
That's
no way. I know
fucking
this.
bullshit,
I know
man.
this guy. He would. In fact, he was getting mad at me for getting mad about what happened to him.
It's
he was kind of
bullshit.
like, no, I
Hold it,
you know,
Kevin.
I agree.
Okay.
it's insanity.
So I am Tom.
Yes.
I changed my name to Tiffany.
or let's just
I
say
get
you're
a
still
sex change.
Tom, and you're in the middle
No.
of transitioning to Tiffany.
Okay.
Right? And you're like, well, I want to be
But
called.
no, like I dress like Tiffany. I am transitioning to Tiffany. I'm taking all the medications that help me transition, and then I've officially announced I am now Tiffany, right? Mm-hmm. And you show up to work 2 weeks from now, and you're like, "Hey, what's up, Tom?" And I'm like, "What the fuck, man?"
Or I think it's like,
I am Tiffany.
Hey, I was talking to Tom, or I was talking to him, and he said, and then there's like, no, I'm not him or he.
And then I get pissed about it.
Right.
That's bullshit.
See,
man.
I think that's the thing because
you've known me for a long time,
exactly.
And then if I
work with you,
I like suddenly change the rules on you. Because now I'm Tiffany.
Right.
And then you accidentally called me Tom.
Or he.
And I'm like, you fucker. You calling me Tom?
I'm turning
pig.
you in.
You pig.
Right.
What
I was
the
like,
fuck?
If anything, I think the person that is in the transition should be understanding because it's confusing maybe to other people.
Like, wait a second. If I change my sex, I change the rules. Like, why do you have the burden to follow the new rules? Like, and if you don't, you're some type of heathen.
Right. Or how about this? How about people that aren't even like taking the drugs or transitioning from man to woman, but are just like, I want to be called they, them.
Right.
Like, I'm like,
that's not normal.
What?
I mean, honestly, that's not a normal, like, people don't speak like that. Real people that are in the real world that, like, they see he and her because that's how they grew up. That's how we all grew up, by the way. I hate to break it to you.
Maybe younger people are getting this.
If I see you, Kevin, I'm not saying, hey, they was talking to me and people would be like, who are you talking about? I'm like, that person right there. No, you can't say him. Them right there.
I'm not them.
That's not how fucking people communicate. People don't fucking talk like that. So like a real world person that mistakenly calls you the wrong pronoun shouldn't be turned into HR.
Right.
Give him a fucking break.
I agree.
You're the one to change the rules.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, that is not.
I mean,
right,
it's all like getting used to it, and I'm not used to it yet. And I was just
Jill,
like,
help me
bullshit.
out here. Jill, you're my reality check.
I just like that people know what pronouns are now.
No shit, by the way.
Good point.
Isn't that great?
Good point.
People are good with pronouns.
They're getting better.
Right. Jay Vaz?
I have nothing else to add. I'm incredibly proud of you both for covering that segment.
As the guy on YouTube calmed down.
Yeah. The YouTube guy's disappeared. He loves you. He loves you both now.
Thank you, YouTube guy.
He's like,
Don Cornelius. Totally real name.
Isn't it? Like, honestly, though, I don't get it. Like, you're changing the rules on everybody else. No, like, I'm aware of a situation like this. I'm not even going to talk about where. Okay.
Right.
I've experienced it firsthand as a boss. Okay. And now I try my best to follow the rules with this individual. Okay.
And by the way,
I've done it 100%. I've done a good job. Okay. But what if I messed up? What if I referred to that person's old name?
And I was going to say, that person in particular, I don't believe that person would be. I mean, that person's
they wouldn't be
pretty understanding,
totally,
very understanding, and understands that it's
totally.
So, like, I think it's all about the people that are in this or want someone to use a different pronoun for them, they, them, he, her, whatever, he, she, whatever. Then they're the ones that, like, some people are just like over. It's like, give me a fucking break.
See, that's the thing, though.
Give
Kevin.
me a break.
You're talking about that person that we're referring to that we're aware of went through something similar. They're open-minded about the whole thing. If I slipped up in front of this person and said the wrong pronoun or referred to them as their old name unintentionally, they would be like, they would probably be the type of person that would laugh at it and say,
or say,
sorry.
I get it. You're right. Totally
They
understanding.
would not be a jerk about it.
That's right.
That's the thing. It's like, so when you change the rules by changing your sex and transitioning, when you change the rules, you got to be a little understanding when it comes to other people out there that are not as hip as you and aren't as aware of what pronouns they should be using, and they certainly shouldn't be turned into HR. That's total bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, that's for sure. And I don't think, I'm not like trying to like put the whole transgender community under one umbrella, because I think it just depends on the person. But this person in particular was being an asshole for turning in my buddy. So that's it.
I like it, Kevin.
Yeah.
Coming out hard.
I think it's crazy. I mean, especially older.
Don't be fucking with Kevin's friends.
People older than maybe like 35 are probably even more, having more difficulty in
I'm
adjusting.
55. I have trouble with the whole concept.
Yeah.
And it's like heads or tails. And then it's like all of a sudden the coin could flip on its side. And you're like, what the fuck? I didn't even know that was a possibility.
They, them, I'm totally lost still. So I need like a little help.
Could you imagine that? You flip a coin, heads or tails? Tails. And you flip it and it goes think, and it stands on its side, and you're like, son of a gun. I never even knew that was an option.
Well, now there's seasonal like pronouns.
No way.
I don't know if you've heard this.
Like winter versus spring?
It depends on how you're feeling. You can be
wow.
Yeah. Oh, it's all
and I can get
changing.
written up for that, apparently.
Yeah. And I would go a step further. I think there's going to be people who will never refer to the person as their new identity, and they should probably be understanding of that. They're just not going
That's
to
a
change.
Great point. So
Yeah.
hold it. So let's take a scenario. Go back to my original.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Tom. I transitioned to Tiffany.
Mm-hmm.
John Vesmar is a Trumper. John Vesmar is like, fuck that. I am never calling you Tiffany, right?
Or the person
And
could
I
just
walk
believe
by-
there's a man and there's a woman, there's a male
right.
and female.
And
That's
I
it.
walk by Vesmar at work, and he's like, hey, Tom, how's it going? And I'm like, it's
Like, just
Tiffany.
like that.
It's Tiffany. And he's like, fuck you, Tom. Tom, go get out of here,
See,
right?
that would be that's
That is
intentional,
different.
though.
That is
yeah,
different.
I agree.
Agree.
Yeah, it's
You
intentional.
take out the fuck you, Tom part,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Even if he was just like, Tom, get over here and do your work. And I'm like, excuse me, Mr. Vesmar, it's Tiffany. And he's like, I said, Tom,
Yeah,
get
that's
over here.
That's bad.
Okay.
Because I think that's intentional.
HR time?
Yeah, I think that's intentional.
What do you think,
That's
Joe?
being mean.
HR?
I mean, yeah, it's intentional.
Freaking Vesmar.
No, I mean,
John wouldn't do that though.
the example
Vesmar.
you painted was a mean-spirited
Okay.
exchange.
All right.
Yeah.
You change
But
it.
if someone just politely refused to call you your new
How so?
identity, I would say that person needs to be understanding of that.
Okay,
That's
so
my
John,
feeling.
do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Like, hey,
I'm
Tom.
like-
Hey, what's up? Good morning, Tom.
Excuse me, it's Tiffany.
Oh, I mean, to each their own, but I think a male is a male, a female is a female. You know,
It's Tiffany.
That's a gray area.
Get it straight.
And
there,
by the
Mr.
way, I think
Vesmar.
there's a difference between like someone who has totally transitioned to a new, like gone under the sex change, the whole thing, the drugs and everything like that, versus somebody who just is like, I want you to refer to me like it was just me. Let's say it's me. Like, hey, John, I'm what is it? Her, she, her, or whatever. What is it?
Help us,
he-
Joe. Pronoun.
John, from now on, I'm she, her.
she, her, yeah.
Okay, so but it's just me. But I'm saying my pronouns are she, her. That's
You're
what I
still
think. This
Kevin,
is,
though?
yes, I think that's
Hold it,
what's
is that
happening.
possible? You can be Kevin and still a
yes,
she, her?
you can say like I'm she, her, right, John? I mean, people are doing it, right?
Yes.
This is-
And then
that's-
if you mess up,
yes, I'm like, so I'm
HR
like
time.
walking around like this, and John's like, hey, I was talking to Kevin, and he
what's
said,
up? What's
I said,
up,
John,
man?
my pronouns
What's
are
up,
she,
man?
her.
And you're like, no.
no. I mean,
What's up, woman?
I don't even think it's like that. It's like you have to say she, her. I'm like, no, that's
Yeah.
John.
I'll never play the pronoun.
no.
I agree.
I'm sorry. I'm
That's the
not
kind of
playing
shit.
The game.
That is the kind of stuff that makes me want to jump off the Sears Tower.
All right,
Oh,
let's-
it's not the Sears Tower anymore. I'm sorry. It's a fucking Willis building. Even the goddamn Sears Tower,
I'm
right?
turning you into HR now. The Willis people are pissed.
Damn Sears Tower. Can't keep their shit straight.
It's just, I know we got to wrap this up, but it goes beyond. I think there's some like disingenuous stuff. There's a TikToker who goes into restaurants, sets up a camera. He's transitioned to a woman, and his whole shtick is trying to get the server to call him the wrong
Right.
name.
It's like
Which is
former.
normal,
Totally
being a
unfair.
normal human being.
Yeah, and then
I
he
am a
posts
normal
about
human.
it. So
Yeah.
All right, let's do some ads.
All
Let's
right.
come back, and we've got a very interesting situation that was in the Supreme Court earlier this year, and we're going to
Referring to the former mayor of Portage, James Snyder, we're going to sort of cover his trials. Just to remind you, there's an opinion coming up in the U.S. Supreme Court that concerns a local mayor, and it's a big case. So we're just going to sort of paint the picture for you to remind you this case is going to come up in the next couple months in the Supreme Court. We should have an opinion and know what's going to happen, but he's got an interesting history.
Yep.
So we're going to do that, and we'll be back after break. So Powering Indiana Lake County is your source for the region's most trusted electricians. Are you thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or does your business have plans to break ground on a new project? Don't leave important projects in the wrong hands. With IBEW Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today to ensure your project is in the hands of skilled professionals who deliver on time and on budget. Find your electrical contractor at poweringindiana.org.
The Bug Guy Pest Control, serving all of Northwest Indiana with no annoying contracts to sign. Monthly and one-time services available. Insects, rodents, and more. They offer pet-friendly, safe, effective treatments for commercial, residential, municipal, office, warehouse, and more. Give the Bug Guy a call today at 219-810-7481 or find them on Facebook to get your free estimate today. And I can totally agree with exactly what he said about no annoying contracts. They did the service at the house, left the invoice in the mailbox, and I paid him one time. It's great.
Prestimer Insurance Agency. For decades, the Ron J. Prestimer Insurance Agency has been your trusted neighbor right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. They specialize in a wide range of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, and life insurance. The Pressemer Agency serves thousands of people and businesses throughout Chicagoland and the Midwest. Call Ron or Ronnie today at 219-844-0103. They're here to protect what matters most to you.
Branding Room Floor. Don't let your business get lost in the shuffle of generic branding and aimless marketing. The Branding Room Floor is Northwest Indiana's best full-service marketing agency, providing data-driven results to help your business grow. From website development and digital advertising to graphic design and branding, the Branding Room Floor will set your business or organization on a clear path to strategic success. Don't wait another day to get started. Visit thebrandingroomfloor.com today.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon sets the gold standard in Mexican cuisine across the Midwest. Look for their iconic red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti y tu familia, de todo corazón.
Are you facing legal challenges and don't know where to turn? Look no further than Kuklakis Law, your trusted source for legal advice in Indiana and Illinois. Do you need help buying or selling real estate? Call Kuklakis Law. Forming a new business? Call Kuklakis Law. Injured in a car crash or at work? Call Kuklakis Law. No matter what your legal issue, call 219-671-6347 to schedule your free consultation. Who are you going to call? Kuklakis Law. Hablamos español.
Thank you for our sponsors. We're going to talk about the case of the United States of America versus James Snyder. James Snyder is the former mayor of Portage, Indiana, who in November of 2016 was indicted on 3 counts. The first count was a violation of a bribery statute where involved towing contracts. The second count, he was charged with gratuities, and we're going to explain that in a section. Second. It's under United States Code Section 666, which is funny enough. And the last is a violation of the Internal Revenue Laws. 3 indictment counts. We learned that this time James was indicted was interesting because it was in November of 2016. And I remember this very well for a couple reasons. That was also the day that John Bunchich, the Lake County Sheriff, got indicted. Now, the reason this is interesting to me is John Bunchich has been in prison under the charges he was eventually found guilty on. Kevin, I want to say 7 years. Is that about right? He's been in prison already? 6 years?
It's got to be probably, I was going to even say 8, but that doesn't make any sense. So it's probably, let's call it 6 to 7 years probably, yeah.
Bunchich has been in jail. That means he already was tried and convicted and sentenced.
And I think lost his appeal he went up on his sentence, I think, and it got brought down, and they resentenced him. Not much of a difference on the sentence.
So Bunchich has been in jail for 6-7 years. Snyder was indicted the same day as Bunchich, and Snyder's still free.
Wow.
Well, and just remember, I mean, like, he's free, but he's also under conviction, and
right.
He
hasn't gone to jail.
He got sentenced, and he got sentenced, and then
right.
and then it's been up on appeal, and then to the Supreme Court.
So
where it sits.
So Snyder hasn't walked one day in jail yet. He's still fighting it. He may not go to jail at all, or probably will. We'll talk about that in a second. But it's probably cost him. Kevin and I have gone back and forth for the past couple days on this. We did a CLE on this a week ago. I'd say $500,000 at least in legal fees, Kev.
I think that's a fair estimate.
So we learned in 2016 when Snyder was indicted, he had been under investigation for 2 years by the feds at that point and had racked up at that point $93,000 in legal fees. We know this because he tried to reimburse himself from the city of Portage for the $93,000 in legal fees, which probably pissed off the feds, and then got indicted shortly thereafter. So at that point, he's $93,000 in debt from legal fees, and he's had 8 more years of litigation.
Wow.
He's been under this investigation / indictment for a decade.
10 years, yeah.
And like, I don't know how much that costs in legal fees.
Not cheap.
No. Wow. So now eventually Mr. Snyder goes to his first trial in February of 2019. Okay. Now when he goes to trial, John Bunchich is already in prison. Okay. Now his first trial is 27 months after his indictment. So that's 2+ years, which is slow. right, Kevin? You would think it's more like a year.
Yeah, I mean, it all
to a year.
depends, right? There's always a lot of things that can continue a criminal trial. It's probably on the far. Yeah, I would agree with you. It's probably on the slow end, but not necessarily out of the realm of
I
possibility.
think like a typical criminal trial, I was thinking more like 9 months to a year.
I was thinking about like 18 months on the outside, maybe.
Okay.
So
at the trial, we learned a few things. Okay, first off, we learned that Mr. Snyder was heavily involved in creating an RFP, which is a bidding process that cities do so that outside contractors could bid on projects. Because if I wanted to sell a truck, or if I wanted to buy a truck with the city, we can't just go out and buy $1 million truck. We have to go through a bidding process, right? Now, usually these bids are done by people like Kevin, lawyers that are disinterested.
city engineer,
Right.
consultants that are in the industry that help, and then we have like you
put it all together so that it's objective, and you want to get as many people bidding as possible.
And you want to satisfy the statute to make sure that it satisfies the statute, and you're right. The whole point of here is competition, so that the city gets the best price.
The best thing for me is if I have 4 trucks, I want to buy one truck, and there's 4 different people with trucks that satisfy me, and then I get to choose the best deal for the city. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and you can even there's, for example, you could say, this is the type of truck that we want, but if you have an alternate that you think also complies with the specs, then go ahead and bid it, right? And by the way, just because you say Chevy truck, there's umpteen people that sell Chevy trucks,
right?
So you can still get the best deal.
So in this case, though, it was allegedly Mayor Snyder was involved in the RFP process because he was according to the government, interested in the outcome. He wanted, in this case, Great Lakes Peterbilt. He wanted the Buha brothers to win the bid. So if they won the bid, then he would buy the truck from them and make their business happy. They won the bid. I think they were the only bidder. Kevin, is that true? Do you remember?
I don't know.
Okay, but they won the bid. He ends up buying a truck from them, which satisfied campaign promises he was making. And then like a couple weeks to a month later, he shows up to their business and says, it's around Christmas. This is after they bought the truck. He shows up and says, hey, I want a loan from your business. I'm running a little short on cash. And they're like, well, how much? And he's like, $15,000. And they're like, this is all testified in court, by the way. This is all evidence. And they're like, no, we're not going to loan you money, Mayor Snyder. And then Snyder said, well, I'm a smart guy. I could help your business. Let me be a consultant for you. And they're like, what do you consult on? He's like, health insurance. I'm really good with this stuff. I'm health insurance. I'm really good with computers and stuff like that. And they're like, okay, we're not going to loan it to you, but you can consult for us. Could you give me $13,000 up front and then I'll work for it? And they're like, sure. And they write him a check for $13,000. Now, keep in mind, this is right after they get $1 million+ truck purchase from the city where the mayor was heavily involved in the RFP. So he gets $13,000 check for consulting, right? Now, ultimately, the federal government gets involved and they want to discover things like, well, I'm sure for that $13,000 you got phone calls you made, right? You got text messages back and forth with the company. You got like memos and emails and reports that you did, PowerPoint presentations. You got a lot of stuff for $13,000. So give us all the stuff you did, Mr. Snyder. And he can't produce anything. That pretty bad on its face, guys?
Yeah, you would think so. It's not good because I think
if you made $13,000, you should have something to show for it, right?
You would hope so.
So in the first trial, Snyder's found guilty of a bribe, right?
Well, and I think this is important at this point to talk about the difference between a bribe and a gratuity because I don't want to get too much in the
weeds.
Excuse
me, he's found guilty of a gratuity at the first trial.
I don't remember if it was bribe or gratuity, but I think the important thing here is that and this I learned from just kind of listening to the oral arguments, and if you're really a nerd, you can listen to the oral arguments of the Supreme Court. It's pretty interesting. It's an hour and 40 minutes, but it's good stuff. But like a bribe, apparently under the statute is, you do something before the fact. Like, hey, I'll give you this $13,000.
Okay. So let's take it. So
sure.
I am gonna create an RFP so that you win. If I tell you that, listen, Great Lakes Peterbilt, I'm gonna fix the RFP so you're the only one that could win if you give me $15,000 right now. So if before the fact,
that's a bribe.
You give me $15,000, and then after you give me the 15, I create the RFP so that only you could win. That's a bribe.
Bribe.
What's a gratuity?
Gratuity would be like, hey, I'm going to make this RFP so that you can win, and then once you win, I'm going to expect something in return.
I think that's a bribe.
That's a reward.
I don't think you could say anything at all.
No,
I think what he did here is gratuity. He just showed up.
It's an after-the-fact
Right, after
payment.
the fact. Right. So you show up and you're like, hey, I hooked you up.
Well, that could be two. I'm just saying
Right.
that if you did the RFP example, you
Right.
could say, like, you pay me after, and I think that could be
I think
termed
it's
as a
bribe.
gratuity.
If you say that before, that's a bribe, in my opinion. But okay.
So,
anyway.
but the interesting thing about this is, well, go ahead. I'll let you keep going on.
Well, no.
on
So,
the
I mean,
facts.
I was basically, he's found guilty at the first trial, and he appeals it. And basically, he's found guilty of a tax violation and this gratuities
Yeah,
statute.
that was a bribe,
right?
whatever. It's one of the two.
Gratuity / bribe. He still has the tax hanging over his head. He goes to a second trial after it's set aside, found guilty again of the bribe / gratuity. Goes to sentencing.
Wait. So the second trial was an appeal?
No,
It was set aside. The verdict was set
Oh,
aside. In the
gotcha.
and they
first.
retried him.
And they retried him not on the tax. So he still has the tax conviction. That's the one consistent thing through this whole process. No matter what happens, even at the U.S. Supreme Court, he still has a conviction for tax fraud.
Well, and bribe at this point.
Well, no matter what happens, I said at the Supreme Court. So the sentencing date in October of 2021, after his second trial. This is 60 months after he gets indicted. 5 years later, he goes for sentencing on the second trial. 7 years after the investigation started, Matthew Kennelly, a special judge in the matter, sentences Mr. Snyder to 21 months in prison. Now, the range was 46 to 57 months, and he got 21-month sentence, all right? Gets set aside. Okay? He hasn't gone to jail yet. So he has a 21-month sentence hanging over his head. He appeals from the 7th Circuit to the 7th Circuit. Okay? 79 months post-indictment. 7th Circuit basically affirms, but they don't send him to jail. Right?
Yeah, he's still on. I mean, there's a lot of like really, again, in the weeds stuff that happens where you can request an appeal bond. You can request that you remain free on appeal because you believe that it's going to be reversed. I mean, the government's been fighting this. They say that he should turn himself in, and he's been able to keep himself out while these things are worked out.
He still has the tax charge.
I was going to say, the thing to remember in this thing, and you said earlier, I think you said like he may not go to jail. The fact is he is going to go to jail
Because
I think
he may not go
regardless
on
because
the
he's got
gratuity.
convictions.
Right, over the tax.
And potentially the bribe.
But that bribe could be, I'm saying the U.S. Supreme Court could set that aside, which is where we're going next. We went to the 7th Circuit.
Wait. When you say set aside, what does that mean?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, and this was again, I'm trying not to get too in the weeds on the legal part of this, but one of the questions from one of the Supreme Court justices to the Solicitor General who represents the government was, is this a vacate or is this a reverse and remand? And they had a discussion on that. It ended that the government believes it's a reverse and remand, which means it's not, they don't set aside the conviction. They reverse it and they remand for a new sentencing. So that's up there too. Up there too.
Reverse and remand.
I'm
is up
sorry
there.
you asked, Jill.
Yeah,
Yes,
I still
sorry.
don't know what any of that means.
Sorry. Well, no, I think so. Like when you hear set aside, I think you think like, oh, they throw the conviction out, and there's a discussion on whether that's going to happen or not. I'm on the side of I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to go back down, and they'll maybe modify the sentence if this goes Snyder's way.
But the thing that's crazy about this case is there's a number of other criminal convictions for corruption,
Charges.
political corruption, convictions. No.
Ongoing charges.
Yeah,
Charges
you're
that
right.
are like pending.
Michael Madigan,
Yeah.
former Speaker of the Illinois House. Commonwealth Edison has a number of CEOs and other executives that are being held up right now because of this case. So basically, they're saying that Snyder could be found, like the Section 666 gratuity section could be tossed aside. And he could walk out of there without the gratuity / bribe charge, which would leave him just with the tax problem. If he has a tax problem, we've seen this. People with tax convictions usually get year?
I don't know.
and a
It
half?
depends on it depends on the amount. I mean, it's all sentencing guidelines.
Okay, Kevin. I'm
Depends
telling
on-
you, if
no,
there's
I get-
100 people with tax charges, how much time would they get?
I'm
Tax-
serious. It all depends. There's it's a matrix. It's a graph. It depends on the charge.
If you had like a mean, like a bell graph, the average would be like 15 months, 18 months.
sure, I bet that's probably true.
Wow.
My point is that if I have a 10
You
million,
had to pry that out of
if
it.
I
you
know,
have
like if you have like 1,000 people and there's a bell graph, what would be the highest point on the graph?
I'd be curious to find out because I guess what I'm
18
saying is
months.
it all
Bell
depends on
That's
the
our
amount.
title.
Bell graph.
For fuck's sake.
Tom's much better at summarizing things.
For those
I'm
watching,
more
this
like
is
that
the bell
graph
graph.
right there. That is the bell graph.
what does that look like? All right.
That would be 18 months right down the middle.
Good question. I'd be curious to see the bell graph.
So
on
if
tax
he ends up
convictions.
with tax charges only, I think it's safe to say he's in a low security prison with a freaking year plus.
But you know what? I'll tell you this: he's
he's a
not
felon.
mayor. He's a
He's a
felon.
felon, right.
He's
All that stuff.
disgraced. He's
Yes.
gone through all this.
10 years of stress. I don't know what 10
No,
years
thank
of
you.
federal investigation, 10 years of convictions hanging over your head, 10 years of freaking lawyers and meetings and court cases.
The money spent, like you guys said.
Yeah, I think
Well-
10 years is actually in human life. It's really like 20 years.
At
Like,
least.
he's losing.
Oh,
he's losing valuable life right now.
Yeah, I
dealing
mean,
with this.
because of actions that he took. And by the way,
Yeah.
that was another thing that I thought was interesting. One of the Supreme Court justices, I think it was Justice Alito, said, "Hey, we're not here because I think the government or maybe the defense,
Right.
it was like, hey, what about this case and this, Mayor Snyder and Bob and Portage, and
Right,
they're like,
right.
hold on,
We don't care about
we didn't
that
take
shit.
this case because of the
Right.
facts of your case. We took it to decide
In
the
fact,
statute."
they mentioned quite a few
Yeah.
times that they thought his actions were despicable. Basically,
Wow.
it's not even about that. It's not even about this guy and this case, this petty corruption case. Is really it's about the larger issue. Is can the government use this gratuity section basically to I don't know.
Well, it's kind of like they're like it's too vague. You have to.
They
give
could charge
direction.
those they want to charge, and they could choose not to charge others.
Well,
it leaves a lot of discretion.
Right,
to the
there's a
federal
lot of
prosecutor.
examples. Like, what if you give a $100 gift certificate to the police officer?
It leaves
what
a lot
if
of
you give
discretion.
a $500 to?
It leaves a lot of discretion to the federal prosecutors,
And that was the defense
And
argument.
That's the defense's argument.
Yeah.
So like they said a number of times the federal prosecutors are like, trust us, we'll do the right thing with this, and
And the government said no. There's a case that tells us that corruptly means conscious wrongdoing and blah 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 and all this other stuff. So again,
U.S. Supreme Court, James Snyder, Jill. That's the moral of the story. Is the guy had his case argued in front of the United States Supreme Court. He's the mayor of Portage. His name is going to be in a famous legal case when it's all said and done. And
he'll be sitting in prison.
He's been dealing with this shit for 10 years, and he still hasn't gone to prison one day. Which
How
is
does it even
he will.
take that long, though?
It takes that long because everybody's entitled to appeals and and delays. And he also had delays related to who his attorney was. His attorney happened to be the person that became the U.S. attorney, which slowed things down dramatically as well. His attorney initially was a guy named Tom Kirsch. Tom Kirsch ends up becoming the U.S. attorney, which the U.S. attorney that was prosecuting James. And then Tom Kirsch gets elevated to the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals. And so Tom Kirsch has to be like firewalled off from the entire investigation because he knows
and we know
privileged
Tom, he's
material
a
about
really good lawyer, really good guy.
He's a
and
justice in the
unbelievable
Seventh
judge,
Circuit, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So if you guys had to guess, what do you see the Supreme Court doing?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, the justices are fully aware that there's people like Michael Madigan, the Commonwealth Edison CEOs, a lot of corruption cases across the country that are hoping that they reverse this section. I find it hard to believe that justices would make it easier for corruption to exist in government. So I don't see Snyder prevailing. I see Snyder going down on the corruption. I don't think the justices are going to make it easier to commit corruption. That's not even a legal argument. That's just more like how to run government. Like if you're making, because literally what they're saying is you can get tips if you're in government. So does that mean I could put a tip jar out at City Hall and people could just drop checks in there? It's insane. Okay, it's fucking
your
insane.
mayor.
It's fucking insane. At the end of the day, so I'm saying justices are going to do the right thing and corruption is going to be corrupt still.
So I think that's a good way to put it.
Right.
So I think that Snyder, to me, the justices are going to give some direction on this Section 666 and make sure people understand what the word corruptly means within it. And I think they still uphold Snyder's conviction based upon the facts as they exist under this new guidance.
Kevin and I just gave a CLE on this. I don't know if you guys could tell.
I wasn't paying attention.
Don't worry.
You got 3 credits
We've
of
lost
CLE,
everybody
so.
online. It's okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that was part of what we did. We did a lot more legal mumbo jumbo and the real thing, but we wanted you guys to be aware. This is a really interesting case. It's a local case. It's going to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. You have a local official Republican Mayor James Snyder from Portage, and all of a sudden his, like Mayor Tom said, his name's going to be famous in the law books, but that doesn't necessarily help him.
Yes,
but,
United States of America versus James Snyder.
And I think it was argued maybe March, April, which means it's in the current term, which means they'll definitely issue the opinion before the October term starts.
Ooh,
so
all right. Mm-hmm. So we'll have an update on this.
Yes, yeah, that's why we
wait.
covered it today.
Mm-hmm.
So
wait till we read the opinion.
Yeah, we're going to
on
do
the
it.
air.
And I'm very excited.
Make sure
about it.
Lindsay's there. That
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and do some ads, and we'll come back. And we got Kevin has a great story he wants to cover at the end of the show.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
It's why I'm leaving politics. Stay tuned.
Awesome.
Rogers Roofing. When you want the best for your home and family, trust the best in the business. Rogers Roofing. Rogers Roofing has transformed homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland for more than 55 years, providing quality roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the best warranties in the industry. To learn more and schedule your free consultation, visit rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145 today. That's rogersroofing.com or 933-9145. And remember, at Rogers Roofing, excellence is expected every time.
MCR Partners is your one-stop destination for top-notch expertise in economic development, finance, and planning. With a dedicated team geared up to tackle your projects head-on, they're your go-to comprehensive solution providers. Dive into the world of economic development with MCR Partners and let them guide you through the maze of opportunities. Check out their website at mcrpartnersllc.com for tailored assistance. Don't hesitate to reach out to Matt Reardon at 219-741-9511.
Misprint printing. Elevate your. They should have that at the store, like just a audio of that. Misprint printing. Elevate your brand.
Every time the door opens.
Yeah, instead of the ding
Instead
ding
of the bell.
ding ding just ding. Elevate your brand with Misprint, the premier printing and sign solution in Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. With a 30-year legacy of excellence, their experienced team, led by our friend Rick Baltonsberger, combines innovation and technology to deliver top-quality signs and printing, always on time within budget. Conveniently located on Calumet Avenue in Munster and in Hammond, Misprint is your partner for creating impactful visual solutions. Visit them at misprintusa.com to bring your vision to life today.
Cantrell and Cantrell, attorneys at law. Are you injured? Are you in trouble with the law? If so, give us a call and schedule your consultation today with somebody who is in the court and at the jail every day. Call John Cantrell at 219-5544-LAW or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and his wife, Kristen, whose birthday was yesterday.
Happy birthday, Kristen.
They right by each other.
Yeah.
Birthday was, yeah. John and his wife, Kristen, make a great team and are waiting to hear from you.
I like that ending.
Calumet Brewing Michelob Ultra is a superior light beer brewed for those who understand that it's only worth it if you enjoy it. Containing only 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, Michelob Ultra is a light lager brewed with the perfect balance of hops and wholesome grains, producing a crisp, refreshing finish. With great Michelob Ultra partners like Lionel Messi and epic summer events including Festival of the Lakes, Team USA Soccer, and the 2024 Olympics, there's no better time to crack open a cold one. Head over to the Cal Brew or Michelob Ultra social media for info on this great family of beers. Enjoy the Michelob Ultra lifestyle with beers and cheers responsibly.
Thanks to our sponsors, including our studio sponsor, Power in Indiana, Lake County. So, never to disappoint, the Government Oversight Committee, which has folks on it like MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, AOC is on it, and is chaired by a guy named Representative Comer. Old fella.
him.
God bless Representative Comer to have to deal with these folks. And there was a little bit of a what would you
Tussle?
call it, John? John, yeah, a little dust up.
Yeah.
Do you have that link?
Yeah, you want
All
to go
yeah.
right into it?
Yeah, this is great. So okay, so there's MTG. It says something about Representative Crockett, and it kind of goes from there. And AOC, in my opinion, overreacts. Here we go.
Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about AG.
I don't think you know what you're here
President.
for.
Well, you the one talking about. I guess
I
you still
think your
stuck in the
fake
courtroom.
eyelashes are messing up
No,
what you're
ain't
reading.
nothing.
Hold on.
Listen.
All right, so John, stop right
How
there. So
dare you-
MTG says to Jasmine, Congresswoman Crockett says, "Yeah, I know what I'm reading. I think you don't know what you're reading. Your fake eyelashes are getting in the way." AOC goes off on MTG. Here we go.
How dare you
Meeting
attack
will
the
suspend.
physical
Meeting will
appearance of another
suspend.
person?
Are your
Move
feelings hurt?
her words down.
Aw.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play. with
Baby
me.
girl?
We're gonna,
I don't think
we are going to
so.
move, and we're going to take your words down.
I
Thank you.
second
All right.
that motion.
So then we have AOC saying things like "baby girl, don't even play" in a congressional hearing, And that was interesting. And then Comer is just like, and Raskin's right next to him, and I think they're just like, what is going on here? And then this is the best part. I thought this was actually pretty interesting. This is like a comeback by Representative Crockett. Do we get to that, John? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Chairman, I make a
She has
motion
to
to
say it
strike
again.
those
I
words.
don't think that's
Hold on.
I'm trying to find clarification on what qualifies.
Chairman, motion to strike
no
those
idea
words.
what you just said.
So, okay, couple things going on there. First of all, I love Comer. Comer's reaction because after the fact, he said, "I was unable to keep up with the members' insults because I have 2 hearing aids."
Jasmine Crockett's great.
I love her.
Where's she from?
Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she comes. So just to make sure that everybody can get their campaign moving in the right direction, their campaign contributions and their balance moving in the right direction, Representative Crockett decides to go on a line and do a clap back Marjorie Taylor Greene bleach blonde bad built butch body T-shirt.
Nice.
Yeah. And this is what they look like. So if you want to buy one of these and support another grift from our members in Congress, go to that website and buy a. It's hard to laugh. It really is, because this is who we have. I'm talking about that whole exchange that we just watched.
It was bad.
This is who we have
representing us.
This is just what we have in Congress. Nothing's getting done, and then
it's
there's
the people's house, John.
Yeah.
And it's a reflection of who we are. And
but then
we send these pieces of shit to Congress, but we're electing these pieces of shit.
And then you have, like, you know, and so,
I mean, seriously, like, it's the people's house. It's always been radical all throughout American history.
It's true.
It's supposed to be.
It's where the fights happened. It's where the Puerto Rican bombings happened.
It's where like people fight on the floor, right?
Yeah.
It's
back to the 1700s.
It's a reflection of who we are as a people.
Baby girl.
Yeah, we're
don't
sending.
Play.
You don't know people that talk like that? Of course you do. Of course you do. I do too. And we're electing these people, and they go to Congress and they act normal.
And I think, you know, it goes back to like people, like, you know, when Jackson was elected, right? And they were like, "Look who's coming to the White House, some guy from Tennessee." And
right,
like,
Andrew Jackson.
Right,
and
Andrew
then all of
Jackson,
his supporters, but like he was the Trump of the day.
Sure.
And then Andrew Jackson took over, and they had the inaugural party, and all of his supporters looted the White House. And they were like, these Jackson supporters,
these
they're a
people
bunch of
from the
heathens,
hills,
right?
right, from
right.
Tennessee,
I mean, it's been. We've always been jacked up. It's a country, I guess. That's the.
I think the
story.
most annoying thing of this is that, like, you know, and I'm trying to be objective here. MTG does it, AOC does it, Jasmine Crockett does it.
They're both.
Yeah, they're like, and they jump at the opportunity to make some money off of something that happens in Congress so they can keep their balance in their campaign. account.
I'm gonna do a rare compliment of our congressman. It's rare, okay. Frank Mervan. He doesn't play this bullshit. I have to give him credit for that.
Stays out of it.
He doesn't act a fool. He's not acting like an asshole. He's a mature, responsible congressman. I have to give him credit for that. Honestly.
But he also votes the party line.
He does vote the party line. I agree with you, and I do have problems with that. Okay. But like, he's not acting foolish like these people. Like, he doesn't go there.
These are for headlines. Nice. It's like headline grabbing.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's not even just headline. It's more about national money, right?
Yeah.
They want to like get the millions flowing. I saw it when I was running for U.S. Senate. We would literally raise like $25,000 in a day just doing nothing. Just like waking up, and I would say something, and then, hey, more of it's pouring in today than it was pouring in yesterday, right, Kev? Mm-hmm. It's incredible. It's actually, so like, I can only imagine if you're a national figure, and you know everything you do affects that flow of cash that comes in your, if you act a fool, like MTG, when she said what she did, she looked at her balance the next day and it was flowing harder in.
Because
there
she
was more money
a bunch
coming
of
in.
emails,
right? Because I was
said,
on.
Look, I've been attacked and helped defeat the far left, and then, you know, Representative Crockett saying like help defeat MTG and her hard
then
line
her
right,
flow
and
is increasing. So like it's just how hard the money's coming in.
And nothing. And by the way, this whole discussion has nothing to do with anything of substance that was trying to be done in the committee.
It's all about like affecting people that
what got done that day.
The team. Nothing.
Zero.
Fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
No, it's all a joke.
Yeah,
all
that's
right.
my point is like, yeah, they're all raising money, but when are we going to wake up and like elect some real people?
And get some stuff done.
Didn't you vote for Trump though?
Yeah, good point, Jill.
It's the same.
Boom.
He doesn't get anything done. He's
Wait, hold on.
shakalaka.
Can we dissect that for a second? What do you mean?
So
What do you mean
have
it's the same?
You have a problem with them popping off and making money off of it, but that's his shtick.
Yeah, shoes and
Bibles.
everything. Yeah, Bibles. Oh, good
to
point.
defend himself.
Oh, now, well, she's defending herself.
Listen, I try to play it down the middle on this show. I don't think Trump is an innocent victim. I think that if I pulled half the shit Trump pulled, I'd already be in prison. Okay, so like, I don't think that he's an innocent victim sitting in court right now. I think that he deserved what he's getting. Like, honestly, I think he broke the law.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I honestly do.
Same. So, all right, wrap
Dissension
it up.
in the studio.
Yeah.
I love it.
Lindsay's on Friday.
Lindsay's on Friday.
The Notorious LMP back in the studio on Friday.
Thanks for working with her, Jill, on the schedule.
Yes, thank you.
But another good show. We'll be back on Friday with Notorious LMP. She gets a break from her training, so she's going to come in and pay us a visit. So we'll be back on Friday with another quality episode. I do quality in air quotes. All right.
Good
quality episode. Thanks, Jill. Good to see you. Jay Vaz, awesome job.
Thank you.
Kevin Chandler, thank you for meeting with me on a holiday to put this awesome show together.
Absolutely.
And to you, our fans, thank you for listening to us. Thank you for going to the parades and introducing yourself when we're going by. It keeps us all running. Thank you for listening to LockPod, Season 12, Episode 10. We are out. We will be back on Friday. Take care, everybody. LockPod's out.